I had heard rumors of a haunted Burger King on the outskirts of town, but I had never given them much thought. However, one fateful night, my curiosity got the best of me, and I decided to check it out for myself. I had just finished working the late shift at my job when the idea of exploring the rumored haunted restaurant popped into my head. I had nothing to lose, and I had been searching for something to do that could keep my mind off the workday's stress. So I decided to go on a little adventure. The restaurant looked dilapidated and abandoned as I pulled into the parking lot. The sign was flickering with an eerie glow, casting shadows in the empty lot. I hesitated for a moment, but then pushed the door open and stepped inside. The air was thick with a musty odor, and the dim lighting made it difficult to see. I couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't alone. Suddenly, I heard a faint whispering come from the kitchen. I crept closer, trying to make out what was being said. The whispers grew louder and more frantic, and I could hear the sound of pots and pans clanging together. As I reached the entrance to the kitchen, I saw a shadowy figure dart behind a row of stainless steel counters. I froze, too afraid to move. Then a cold breeze swept through the kitchen, chilling me to the bone. I turned to leave, but the door was now locked, trapping me inside. I heard a faint laughter coming from the speaker box, and I knew I was not alone. Suddenly, I felt a cold hand wrap around my ankle, pulling me towards the ground. I tried to fight it off, but the grip was too strong. As I lay there, struggling to break free, I saw a ghostly figure emerge from the shadows. It was dressed in a Burger King's uniform, but its face was twisted into a grotesque grin. The ghostly figure spoke in a low, menacing voice. "You should never have come here. This Burger King is cursed, and now you're cursed too." I tried to scream, but the figure pressed its cold, clammy hand over my mouth. It whispered in my ear, telling me of the tragic events that had occurred at this Burger King. Years ago, a disgruntled employee had killed several of his co-workers before taking his own life. Since then, strange occurrences had plagued the restaurant. I could feel my heart pounding in my chest as I listened to the ghostly figure's tale. I had always been a skeptic when it came to the paranormal, but now I was beginning to believe. As the ghostly figure disappeared, leaving me lying on the ground, terrified and alone, I knew I had to escape. I managed to break free from the grip of the ghostly hand and ran towards the front door. But as I reached the door, I found that it was locked. Panic set in as I frantically searched for another way out. Then I heard footsteps coming from behind me. I turned to see the ghostly figure standing there, blocking my only escape route. I closed my eyes, bracing for the worst, but when I opened them again, the ghostly figure was gone. The door was now unlocked, and I ran out into the night, my heart pounding in my chest. To this day, I still have nightmares about that cursed restaurant. I can still hear the ghostly whispers and feel the cold hand wrapping around my ankle. I know that I will never forget the terror I experienced that night. I decided to do some research into the history of the Burger King after my experience. I found out that the tragic events the ghostly figure spoke of were true. The Burger King had been the site of a terrible massacre years ago, and many people believe that the spirits of the victims still haunted the restaurant. Despite my terrifying experience, I felt compelled to go back and investigate further. This time I went during the day and with a group of friends. We searched every inch of the restaurant, but we found nothing out of the ordinary. However, as we were about to leave, we heard a faint whisper coming from the back of the restaurant. We cautiously made our way back towards the sound and found an old employee locker room. Inside, we found a tatted old uniform and a name tag with the name of the employee who had gone on a rampage years ago. As we were looking around, we heard the door to the locker room slam shut. We tried to open it, but it was stuck. Suddenly, we heard a voice whispering in our ears, and we knew that we were not alone. We eventually managed to force the door open and ran out of the restaurant as fast as we could. To this day, I still can't explain what happened. But one thing is for sure, that Burger King is cursed, and I would never go back again.